the real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially free so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club. Revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.
Hey guys, it's Nicole here, and welcome back to another episode of the Pain Point Podcast. And we've got another great episode for you today, and another great solution to your business pain points. And this is to think out in the future, or maybe there's a short time span that you have where you're ready to retire, or we're going to get into that today. And I've got my friend here, Sharon. And Sharon's going to talk to you today and bring the solution. Of course, we're going to unpack everything for you, but just so we understand where we're going, and our goal for the conversation today is to talk about Sharon's online course that's going to help you into retirement and therefore. So welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. This is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am glad you're here. So go ahead and tell our audience today about what they can expect, who you are. And so we can get a little bit of a relationship here on who you are and how you came to be to this point in your business.
I am 77 years old, and I brag about it because
Awesome.
I found my spark, and I want to help everybody else find their spark, defining their intrinsic motivation and essence. But in reality, it's your soul. So I started out actually, Nicola, and when I was a kid, I wanted to be invisible. Now, that's because there was sexual abuse going on in our home. And I thought, if I double down, don't get good grades, don't rock the boat, and be obedient, I might be safe. And I pretty much did work for me. But what I did not know until I retired is that I had felt invisible my whole career. And I really have a heart for people who feel invisible now, especially in retirement, because after all this COVID pandemic stuff and the challenge people have with mental strength, I have a solution for that. Then it's becoming that retirement seems like something's missing. I'm here to tell you that let's light your fire again. You still are that dynamite high school debater and trombone player. You're still have all these colleagues that you gathered over your lifetime. And I'm a behavioral scientist, and I want to help everybody be the best that they can be. I want to bring out the uniqueness of you because it's precious and wonderful. And it makes life so much better when we're living for what makes us happy.
Love that. You truly do have a great amount of spark, and the essence of what you do and say just comes right out when you talk. And that's a beautiful thing. Not many people can bring that tonality and that body language along with when they speak. And then it's just such a great spark. And it's beautiful. And thank you for being here and a behavioral scientist. So do you teach people how to behave or how to behave appropriately?
And lately on the idea of how many people in retirement have regrets. They're looking back on their life and they wish they'd made a different decision or said better things to their loved ones or whatever. So helping them get past their regrets. And now we know that the time limit is limited. We don't live to 500 years old. That so time is running out is what I'm saying. And
Right.
yet John Iso's book, Five Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die, is one of them is have no regrets. Leave no regrets, actually, I guess is how he says it. And I can help you a new course for resolving some of those regrets you've had because you've got time to make amends. And living with a purpose and meaning and fulfillment makes such a big difference in retirement because when you live longer, you live healthier and you have meaning to your life. That is so not underrated. It needs to be it's elevated more that having meaning in life is such an answer to life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Said you do need to have meaning. You want to have sparky, you want to have fun, you want to enjoy those moments as much as you can. And that's a day to day, right? Because with COVID and with what you did vulnerably share with us and your honesty to share why you felt you needed to be invisible. And it helped you obviously through some treacherous times. And I do appreciate it. As a chairwoman for confronting domestic violence, that's something that's very near and dear to my heart to help people not just combat, heal those emotional traumas, but definitely move through from the victimhood and the survivor mode, which is not necessarily healthy for long term, but to be the mentor and for you to share and to continuously work on the side of good to say, I'm still here. I'm vulnerable. I am on the camera. I am sharing one-to-one my services and what I've been through so I can help heal other people. And you're not living in the tragedy. And so many people are re-victimizing that moment. But how can you move forward once you've had to combat and get over that? And that's what we share with our nonprofit is to really share the strength of how can we come out of this once we've moved out of the situation and how do we heal? But not only that, how do we make money? How do we run a business after that? Because we still have to support ourselves and financial freedom, mental health, our behavior, how we treat other people. Because when you're a victim and you're in that mode, you continue to hurt people and that affects your business. Largely, it starts to affect your business. And I didn't put it together for a few years till I hired someone that was a business coach and could really say, hey, this affects your business, how you show up, how you open up, how tell your story and who you tell your story to. So if you're still in pain, who's going to listen if you're still activated? But when you have something that is a solution, and it's a solution on such a large scale. And it's a solution that you can offer virtually for people. So when they do interact with real life people, their roommates, their husbands, their wives, and friends and family, whether they're living in a retirement home and still mobile, still getting out, still getting around, still having dinners, still in a community sense. When you do that, you still have to be able to interact with people. And it's been so detrimental to our society, especially 2020, that how do we react? Our mental health, our behavior is horrible. And then you want to go to work. Nobody wants to go to work anymore. They don't want to do anything anymore. They don't want to live. They don't want to be happy. Somebody stuck a straw in us and sucked out our joy. And so to bring this back to say that this is easy And that is also part of the podcast and bring back. I want this to be easy and simple so we can all do this and we can all heal one step at a time. And I love just what you do here and just even looking online at your 3 tips to ignite spark. Is that part of your online course?
Yes, yes. Why don't we start with where are we now? And do you really want to change? When it comes to doing a course and learning new things, are you open to exploring and being curious? Curiosity is such a big tool in retirement because I help you remember what was it like to be a 3-year-old? When 3-year-olds want to get into mama's cupboard and knock those pans together, they don't let anything stop them. And yet I have a friend that's 85 and I think his curiosity has flown the coop. I'm trying to revive it with him because I think there's being courageous and looking for the possibilities is such a key to life, any age that you are. And so the inner spark, we start with where are you and do you want to change? What is it about your life that you want different? So I look at what's working now, and we're going to start looking at what really matters to you. The values. I don't know anybody that talks about values, and yet I wrote a paper in my undergraduate class on values, and the instructor says, I've never had anybody write a paper on this over 30 years, but your values is what makes you and I different. When you're listening to the news, what news story jumps out at you and says somebody needs to do something about it? Or, man, that person had something so awful happen to them. They need somebody to help them and come around them. That speaks to our values that we're different. And that's also touches on your intrinsic motivation. My talents could probably help that situation and yours might not help it at all. But anyway, values is part of it. We look at what's possible. When we look at your deepest desires, and we want you to start thinking, what is possible in my future? We're not looking at what's behind, what's possible, and cover your aspirations, your long dormant passions. Life lulls us into monotony, and those dreams dry up, especially if you haven't been on vacation. Sometimes that's when they pop up. It's when you're watching a campfire or looking at the ocean. Oh, this little voice starts talking to us, and sometimes it scares us because I wouldn't know where to start doing whatever this little voice was saying. But I have a little saying that says, when you take the first step, then you'll know what the next step is. So even though it alarms you and thinks it's too big for me, once you take the first step, then you'll know what to do next. And you don't need to know the whole process. But then we talk about what's important. And that's where the values come in. And we talk about what's working and what's not working. Because that's part of taking the spreadsheet of your finances are, what's working, what's not working. Well, what's working for you on a daily basis and what's not. It might be your habits. One habit that is so valuable, and I keep hearing this almost weekly, is to be grateful. It changes so much of life when we look at life with appreciation. I place in north of Seattle, and when I was driving Lyft, I would tell people that are new to town, we have 1,000 shades of green here. And that results in a lot of where I live, there's lots of hedges. And all of this growth of green things is free. Thank you, Lord, for free things.
That's beautiful. And then you're valuing and you're grateful. You value what's around you. You value now your environment and you're so thankful for that. And it just increases and it continues to grow. And it snowballs in the more positive way. And I really like how you say that and reclaiming your identity. And it's so important when we're talking about, and I run summits, I run virtual events and sometimes networking and workshops. And I know that your voice, your throat chakra, it's very important to be able to speak your truth, to be honest, and to find your value and that you're enough. But do you value your business and your clients as well? So if you don't value yourself, when you're selling your products or your service, other people will not value you. They feel that energy. They feel that spark. They feel what you're talking about. Are you honest? Are you being honest about that? And then can you be seen? Do you want to be seen? Because if you don't value yourself, you don't want to be seen. And that's so much also when I hold summits or we're creating workshops for survivors or people just to help the community. Because if we help the whole community instead of just one person, we help millions, then we're really making change. If we help one person, are they truly going to change their family? Are they going to change their life? If we help the whole neighborhood and everybody's working in the same dynamic, and I love that so much better. We're leveling that up, and that's so beautiful. Now people can be seen and heard. Now they can sell their goods or their services. Sometimes that goes into virtual reality because we can hold a safe space for people who can't quite be seen yet. Either they are not ready. It gives them a little bit of comfort. And also, it gives them a bit of safety, and you can talk a lot more openly, and we can have group conversations and ease into the stage and ease into your business and start to find your worth. And then when it's a safe time for you to come forward, now you have value. Now you can be bold and be authentic. And now that you've found your identity, and my goodness, all ages, young, old, just different ages of people that are finding their identity, have great boundaries and know who you are. And it's so hard to be authentic, but you can't heal people if you're a coach and you're not in your authenticity. I think you're doing a little bit more damage. And I've seen that. So just to be in a good space and find that growth is so important. It's important for your business. And let's get back to, I really want to get back to where you were talking about the creativity. And this is important for business people, especially a lot of coaches can be very visual and they can be very creative. And the business launch is a creative process. So when they're birthing that, when you're talking about creativity and spark and laughing and letting go, how does that change people you work with? And this just reflects any age. Do you find people are more resistant to it at an older age because you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of mentality, or are they a lot more open?
I love Brene Brown. And in fact, my creativity comes in my little art blocks. Trust, courage. Yeah. So I love color. I love sewing, and I love words of wisdom. And here's one of my very favorite: worry is a misuse of imagination.
Wow.
Brene Brown. I'm not sure I have that block here. Yeah. Vulnerability is the willingness to show up and be seen without any guarantee of the outcome.
Awesome.
And she also says that vulnerability is it breakthrough? If the creativity, being brave and courageous leads to creativity and innovation. I think my art block that has that on it, but I'm surprised at how many men especially, but even people who have been hurt, being vulnerable is very dangerous to them. And yet how I see this, Nicole, is I look at vulnerability as opening the door to magic. If I put on the table what I know and you put on the table what you know, the opportunity for new stuff emerges. I'm also a certified knowledge manager, and that was one of the keys I got from that course. So it's not so much, and if I stick out my nose and open my gut to say something because I don't know how it relates to anybody, the surprise is, the magic is, somebody else, and I lived to tell about it. I didn't die do it. And I didn't get criticized or laughed at. That's important too, because that's what you're afraid of. But the courage and guts to bare your soul and your heart is people will see that and they'll respect it. And oh man, that opens the conversation to a whole new level in a precious kind of way, because miracles are energizing and remarkable to our spirit. So that to me is one of the key points about being creative and innovative, because I'm not sure that AIs can create something new. It takes humans to do that. So we're still going to be needed and to apply it in a new way. Here's another one. I'm going to use this a whole lot more, because when it comes to regress, you can transform failures into a learning experience, a learning opportunity. And for people in retirement, if you think that's something missing, maybe you can imagine walking through something that happened before and that you might have tripped over your feet on. Could you learn something new about it and teach your kids and grandkids or your neighbor about, here's what I learned about that. One of my worries, the misuse of imagination, has been made a difference to me, because I had moved clear down to Tampa, Florida, and about 4 months in, I was getting really troubled about finding new friends. And I know 3 or 4 people there. And so I did a little research, and I found in the Bible, Joshua chapters 1 and 2 on do not be afraid, be of good courage, be of great courage. I will take care of you. And I got to the point that I stopped my foot and declared I refuse to live my life based on fear.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
And it's keeping me young. It's keeping me vital. I have not ever spent a night in the hospital. No diabetes. No, I have a little bit of high blood pressure, but maybe that's good. And yeah, I'm going to live to 100, folks. And the longevity and the vitality I have, no COVID, no shots, no vaccines. I have a self-healing body.
Awesome. I love that.
The stage show.
I love how you talk about that self-healing, and I believe that's truly where are you at, how are you lifting your energy, and how are you changing? I've seen different people through the ages, and I've done in-home care on the side. It was my way to give back to the community a few years back, and doing in-home care, and I did some hospice, did some aromatherapy, and just going into houses, especially retired military. I dealt with a lot of gentlemen that had PTSD because I was a no holds barred. I could deal with them. My background was law enforcement and security for 20 plus years. Hey, if you want to be a grouchy old man, that's perfectly fine. My grandpa was one. I loved him to death. He was a great guy. He was in the Air Force. And it's important to see that there is some vitality in that, and there's some change. Once you get past that first part of getting to know someone, it takes some time to get to know them and like them and trust them. And we don't have to be best friends, but we have to be respectful. We have to value one another's time. And I'm here for it. If you want the help, I'm absolutely going to come in and help someone out. And it's just listening to stories or laughing with someone, being creative in a moment of something that they like. There's something so beautiful about that energy. And if it's essential oils or herbs or just reading a book, a Bible, I can't sing, so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I don't try to do that. Anything, sometimes just sitting, whether it was someone with dementia or something, they had some bizarre story. Sometimes it's fun to hear these stories because it's almost like they're in a different time and space. But you get to hear people's stories and you get to talk to them. And for that moment, they are excited. They are in their creativity. They are just in a great healing mode and they're good. So living that spice and putting that out there to say the creativity is just so joyful to be in that joy-filled mode. And when that person is in a better space, when their doctor comes in, when their nurse comes in, when their family comes in, goes, hey, oh my God, what did you do? My mom talks about you all the time. My father talked about you. He's so glad that you're here. He gets excited. There was a gentleman and he was in his 80s and I'd ring the door and he would just scream and try to run through the door. And I always think, please don't run through your house. But he would just get so excited and his wife would get excited because for a few moments, she could have peace of mind that we could sit and watch news together or talk about whatever it was. But giving people the grace of being them, giving them the grace to have that moment and to have that excitement. And there's such a charge and a change. And they're happy. And it's such a beautiful thing to just be able to hold space or to be there with someone to say, hey, let's just talk, let's connect. And that is when you have that courage and you release that fear, it's so true to say, whatever it is, if it's life, if it's business. And if you can just say, yep, I got it right now. This one moment right here, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to laugh at me. Laugh at yourself. It's okay because then you're failing and okay, that was silly. I was so scared about my hair. I was so scared about the color of my necklace or whatever silly. And then you're like, or you're recording yourself on Zoom and you're talking to yourself. You're like, this is just ridiculous. But you start to see how this is and you laugh, hey, I forgot to unmute and I recorded myself for a half an hour, but I look good. Can you laugh at those silly little things? And I love to share that in networking. And when I talk to coaches and speakers, I think it's a great thing to say, hey, you know what? I had a silly thing that I did. I showed up and this little silly thing happened. Learn from my mistake. Don't let it be you. Or if you did this, it's okay. I still love you. I'm still here for you. And I think that's so important. And what you're creating is friends and community. And you're changing the behavior on a larger scale. So I want to leave you with, I know we have a short time together today. And I love that you're teaching this and it's online and it's available to people, especially in the Great Discovery. It's such a great group of people that have put this together. They're so good. What would you like to leave people with that they can get maybe on your downloadable or in your course or anything else that maybe you want to last words for you?
You look on Great Discovery for Sharon Rolph, Rolph. I have 6 items out there. One is free, and it's about 6 tips to not get off the off track in retirement. And sometimes it's being too busy. Sometimes it's being too bored. Sometimes it's not getting out and being social. It can be a real challenge to be social when you're in retirement, but I also have a solution to that, and that would be my course on volunteering. Make a marvelous transition into volunteering because that's where you do keep being social. You're usually learning something new. Let's see, you're out of the house for one, but you can volunteer online, actually. That is a virtual stage also. One of the principles about volunteering is reciprocity. How long has it been since you heard that word? That when I do something good for Nicole, it makes her feel good, but it makes me feel good too. I deliver food bank every week for 4 families. And I have been talking on my loneliness show on Wednesdays about reciprocity. And lo and behold, one of the ladies last fall, when I was commenting about the flowers around her front porch, and she said, hold on. She went to her garage and got a box, and she wanted to send me home with something after I delivered her groceries. She had a plum and a prune tree. Yeah, plum and prune tree that was being loaded with fruit on it. And she insisted that I go home with fruits. But discover your spark, rekindle your joy is what I was talking about. Looking at what's important, what's working, what's not working, what matters to you. And then we wrap it up into a metaphor. I like to think metaphors are a little bit like parables. They create a word picture. Here's my word picture that I developed when I first learned this process. I am precious jewel of wisdom. I am colorful collaborator, motivator, and learner. I am tranquil, authentic, and pure inspirer. I light fires. I'm here to light your fire. So I want everybody to know their spark. That's my spark, or I learned it as essence. But when I shared it with my classmates, it felt like I was describing my soul. It was a precious moment. And I often have people say, "Oh yeah, my skin is." But here's some of the material that this is a art block from some lines that John Maxwell says in his leadership. And it's some of the same touches on what I help you learn and discover your spark. What makes me sing? What makes me cry? What makes me dream? What makes me excel? And what makes me different? I'm so glad we're different because everybody's needed. And when you're not living from your spark, it's missing. Life is remarkable when you can share what your unique talents are. Let's see. I ignite the inner spark of boomers in their golden years by introducing them to the best version of themselves. Look for that when you're on The Great Discovery, and you'll find some courses that will help you along that road of reintroducing yourself to your best version.
I love that. I love what you do because you're still living, you're still a vibrant being, and you're different. And you can enjoy yourself. I think after you reach, I'm 52, and hey, I can enjoy myself, and I know who I am, and I love that, the authenticity and the community that you bring. And may you help more and more beings just be loved and happy and vulnerable and creative and enjoy their spark too. I love that. Thank you so much, Sharon. Everything will be down below, whether you're on Spotify, Rumble, or YouTube. All of Sharon's information will be shared below, and you can find her and you can ignite your spark too. And thank you so much for being here today, Sharon. I love it.
You're welcome. Here's a line that we'll end with that often Thomas Wolfe says, if one has a talent and fails to use it, one has failed. If one has a talent and partially uses it, one has partially failed. If one has a talent and finds somehow to use the whole of it, they have marvelously succeeded and won a satisfaction few people ever know.
That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. All right, guys. So check out our sponsors. Thank you for being here today. And our sponsors support the show so much. And that helps us bring wonderful, valuable guests to the show. So thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
The real world, a global community where like-minded individuals work toward achieving their personal goals. Every member receives advanced training and mentoring from our team of experienced industry specialists. Develop essential business skills with the help of our coaches through our online comprehensive education system. Join now. Real Prosperity Financial Freedom Formula. Discover how to become financially free so you don't have to depend on your business, a job, the government, a partner, or anyone else for money. Scan code for the Financial Freedom Formula. 4BK Forbidden Knowledge Shop. Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops. Embark on a journey of discovery with Forbidden Knowledge Tours and Workshops, where history, science, and spirituality merge to unlock the secrets of the universe. Our immersive experiences take you beyond the mainstream narrative, exploring ancient civilizations, consciousness expansion, biohacking, UFO phenomena, and the art of manifestation. Esoteric Store, featuring new esoteric and biohack items. It's a movement, a portal to ancient wisdom, higher vibrations, and deep truths. Awakening minds and expanding consciousness. Scan code to shop now. AI Genius Club, revolutionary suite of 24 AI-powered apps, is designed to automate, optimize, and elevate your success. Whether you're crafting visuals, creating engaging funnels, or generating personalized content, our platform empowers you to excel with ease and precision. Scan code to create magic. Event Raptor, the #1 solution for automating your sales. Attract, nurture, and convert with your ultimate coaching client attraction system. Everything you need to grow your audience, your authority and influence, your sales. Scan to start your automation.